Welcome everyone to my YouTube channel. I value all for subscribing, commenting and sharing. This actually influences the way I bring the content to you. So today I'm bringing a psychoanalytic theory and I'm basing it on the YouTubers that have actually influenced me to be posting these videos as a payback to the community. You know, we always grew in the community, and there are people who actually fostered us. There are people who looked after us, even if they were not our parents. Even while our parents, they were looking after us as well. And mwana munhu wemunhu wese community ndomakorera takaitawo isusu tisatapinda kuma 2000. So ndoda kutaura about the Sigmund Freud's psychoanalytic theory in brief, but relating it to the YouTubers that we have. And the YouTubers that I'm going to be talking about is Kundai Chitima, Kelvin Period in their own group, then Shema TV and Ango Saint in their own group. And these people, I didn't ask for permission to be talking about them in this video, because to me, they are influencers. So I want to talk about their influence in relation to the psychoanalytic theory as purported to by Sigmund Freud. So Sigmund Freud did the ego, the super ego in his psychoanalytic theory, where he was talking about the mind in relation to how people grow up, and the way that they grow up actually influences the way they behave when they are now in adulthood. So the Kelvin Period and the Kundai Chitima, the two guys, I look at these guys as people who influenced by things that are smart, things that are good, things that can change the future for the generations to come. Why am I saying so? If you look at their showcase, like they do travel, show people the way, you know, some places that they haven't been to, and some they even went to those places because of them. So what am I saying? I'm saying these guys in their super ego, it's rich with things that are very good and that things that are very nice, that they think if they showcase those things to people, people will actually get an interest and go to those places to make some visits. So the other two, Shema and Ango said, those guys are problem solvers. And they are also influencing the next generation, that if you give, you can also be given. Though if they are doing their videos, they are not doing them for the purposes of saying, yes, we are giving, but we should be given. But they are driving something that is lacking within the community. And to me, that thing is influenced, that idea that they have is influenced by research that they've made themselves as individuals. So what are we saying to us as individuals? We have to have self-reflection if we are implementing the psychoanalytic theory, to say we have to regularly reflect on our actions and decisions. What is it that we are doing? For those things that we are doing, what are they influencing the society with? So you have to consider whether all those things that you are talking about, they are driven by either impulsive desires, which is the id, and we now talk about the practicality of it, which is the ego. Then we talk about the moral principles, which is the super ego. So if we bunch these four influencers that I have mentioned, Kundai, Ango Saint, Shema, and Kelvin Period, we look at these people as people who have already self-reflected, and this is what they want to do. So as an individual, as you are listening to this video, what are you thinking? What are you doing? It's very important when you want to make decisions in life. So if something comes into your mind, you want to watch something. For example, you want to watch material that is not going to change anything in your life, that is not going to give you anything in any direction. Your ego will now control you to say, Tinashe, is this thing real? Is it this? Is it something that you would want to say to the public? So we are now saying, okay, you have to engage in mindful practices. So when we are saying you have to engage in mindful practices, you are meditating to enhance your own awareness of internal conflicts that could be happening within your mind, in your mind. those internal conflicts, you have to balance them effectively. The id is telling you that go and fight with this person because he said this to you. Then your ego will say, no, hold on. That thing is not right. Then the super ego will bring those things that are in the subconscious mind, which have been nurtured by the parents when you grow up. Your mother told you that no, fighting with anyone is not a solution to the problems that you are having. So you retrieve that super ego. I am saying this because some of you listening to this video, you are parents, some of you are children. So those things that you are told by your parents, they are actually supposed to be stored in the super ego. Don't store things that are useless in your mind. Don't store things that do not influence change in your mind, okay? So I also want to speak to the ministers that we have in Zimbabwe, right? I will speak to the Minister of Tourism if she gets a chance to listen to this video. Take these 4 people, just an example. There are a lot of people that we watch on YouTube, but these 4 people that I have just mentioned, take them, finance them. They continue to showcase what is happening in Zimbabwe the way they are doing and get support. You actually realize that they are going to influence more people to behave the same way. How does that going to help the society? The youths, they are going to run away from issues to do with the drugs. They are not going to do things that are out of this world, okay? Then we talk about therapy. At times when you realize that you are faced with issues like anger, maybe you have got anger which you can't control, you need to seek therapy, professional guidance from therapists. It can actually help you to mold your super ego, which is going to influence your ego and your id. Right, so when that is sorted and you have psyched yourself, you received therapy, or someone has cancelled you, you can actually now set goals for your life. How do you do it now? You have to define clear personal and professional goals that are aligned with your values. Because the values, you know them already. You know who you are. You know what you want. But if you are not matching with the society, or you are not matching with things that you are thinking about, you tend to have conflicts. And after having those conflicts, those are the people that you will see in the streets. Even if someone steps on their toes without even realizing that they did that, they will start fighting with them. They start to, make noise and do other things that are out of this world. So what are we saying? Set your goals properly. Define your clear personal goal. To say, this is the goal that I want to do. That's why I mentioned those YouTubers. If you follow them, you actually see that their trajectory and where they are going to go far. And some of them, they are going even to reach the World Myers level, right? So, if you align your goals with your values, those ones will help you to harmonize the demands of the id, the ego, and the super ego. So your mind becomes rich, right? So, and lastly, health communication is also very, very important. So you need to foster open and honest communication, especially in the relationships that you have, to navigate conflicts between desires, practicalities, and things that happen in the moral sphere. Okay, so I want to talk about one controversial issue. If we talk about church versus yourself, Africa versus Europe, if you look at how we go to church in Africa ourselves, with the experience of being in Africa and being in the other part of Europe, you realize that the churches, they are amplified in Africa. How many hours are you spending in church, or how many days are you spending in church, and what are you getting? Half the time you see the prophets will knock into your head and they say, oh, you have got problems, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this should be solved in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you spend 10 days wakagara uri panzvimbo 1. But some people vari kumova with life. In Europe, they will just go to church for 2 hours. They go back home, they start their lives, right? So, if we look at the id and the ego and the super ego, is the ego telling you that you should continue going to church because you have got problems that have been highlighted by the prophet, right? But if you remove that concept of saying, I don't want problems just to be given to me when I haven't seen the problems, you may realize that you can think better. I'm not saying people mustn't be told things by prophets, but I'm just saying, what is occupying your mind? What are you doing? And what are you planning, right? I'll also talk about money versus poverty, Africa versus Europe. Look at agriculture in Africa. Agriculture in Europe, in Europe, you can find that every child is taught how to understand agriculture. But if you go to my country like Zimbabwe, which is agro-based, you can find that agriculture is optional at school. Is it the right thing that has been done to say agriculture should be optional when everyone is supposed to know that the economy is agro-based? So if you take it, they actually used the psychoanalytic theory to say, if we go to Africa, give them education, they will think the same. They will think that if we go to school and we do medicine, we do engineering, we do 1, 2, 3, 4, those people will actually abandon the rural areas. After abandoning the rural areas, they will go to the urban areas where they will be squashed, right? Squashed, for example, in locations, you see people, they will be living in small stands, and there will be 5, 10 families there. But when they are in the rural areas, they have all the space. But simply because the towns were amplified during the time of the colonial era, then people, they were managed using these theories like the psychoanalytic theory to say, if we push this to the mind and it settles in the superego, the moment you finish Form 4, you are thinking of migrating from the rural to the city, right? Then, so is it important that a person gets mad? Then you talk to Kelvin Biriot and Kunda Chitima, they will tell you that there's rural tourism now. People who are coming from Europe, people who have migrated, they are now going back to the rural areas. I'm only saying this to make sure that we understand and implement the conflicts that happen between the id, ego, and the superego, right? And it is actually up to us to make sure that what we do, we create generational wealth. So you will see that in terms of creating wealth, are we creating wealth for now or for generations to come, right? If you go and ask a farmer today who wants to farm something, they will ask you about foreign markets, ask about what? But they haven't even satisfied themselves. They haven't even had enough food in their own house, but they are thinking of exporting whatever that they've produced. So, in conclusion, I would say one has to understand what happens in their mind. What is it that you are feeding your mind every day? Is it beneficial to the society that you are living? Is it beneficial to yourself? Are you nurturing your children in a way that they would want to relate to what you have nurtured them when they were young? When they are now adults, are they going to say, our father taught us this and that? Pano rairwa mwana wa mambo ni umurando itase terera. So guys, kudos to the YouTubers that I've mentioned, Kunda Chitima, Ango Saint, Shema TV, and Kelvin Biriot. Continue doing the great job. Let's follow them, and I will end here with this psychoanalytic theory, but I will bring another one using a different version. So guys, at the back of your mind as I'm ending this video, think about the things that you are putting into your memory center. Are you occupying your memory center with things that influence change around you? Okay? Thank you for the love. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for subscribing. See you in the next video.